All right, welcome back to Terminal Garage. So today, time to put this valve in this little Sambar head. I got it reground. You can see right there, it's all nice and shiny. And yeah, I'm going to install this valve and finish this head off. So when we left off, last thing we did was cleaned up all the rocker arm assembly. That's ready. And we obviously have our valve seals all installed. There's just the one that's missing, the one valve missing. I'm going to put that on now. The valve, so while that is nice and shiny and very new looking, I'm still going to lap it in. So the first thing I'm going to do is lap that valve and see what it looks like. All right, I've lapped the seat. See if I can get that so you can see it. Yeah, you can see it pretty good right there. You can see the seat and the valve. There's a nice line on there that you can see where it's lapped. So the last thing I'm going to do, which is probably not needed, but I'm going to do it anyway, I'm going to give it a quick bluing. All right, let's have a quick look. Yeah, that is nicely blued all the way around. There's a great view. So that was cleaned before I put the valve on. And there's the valve. Let that focus. There. You can see how the bluing has been wiped off evenly all the way around. So that is great. So now I'll just go ahead and throw that valve spring on and move on to the rocker installation. All right, we've got that last valve installed. It's all looking good. The last thing to do before we install the rockers is install a camshaft. Now this camshaft, as I mentioned in an earlier video, this head was outside, so the cam is rusty. It's not bad rust, but it's got a bit of a rusty haze on it. So I'm going to take some 600 grit paper and I'm going to just sort of polish up that camshaft a bit before I install it. Okay, so I've got this camshaft cleaned up to the point I'm pretty happy. Lots of elbow grease, some 600 grit. And so now let's get this thing assembled. First thing I'm going to do is take some ultra black gasket maker here. And I'm just going to put a little dab in each corner. I don't need a lot because these gaskets, these surfaces are perfectly flat, so they will mush out any extra. It's probably a lot more than I need. Get some assembly lube, just like we did in the other videos overhauling the engine. We'll put assembly lube on this as well, no difference. Yeah, that's probably more than I needed, but this could be sitting a long time before it ever gets used, so it's good to have this thing nicely lubed up and hopefully stay that way. Okay, we're going to drop our cam in. Why is that not turning? That should... There we go. That rotates nicely. Look at that. Woo-wee. Now we'll take our rocker assembly, drop it in place. There we go. And now we'll get all the bolts installed. Okay, I got all this buttoned up. It's tight, but it's not torqued. What I'm gonna do now is wipe the excess bit of silicone off there. And more importantly, on the inside of the bore, you wanna make sure that is nice and clean. And then I also ensured that these bolts were loose, which they were, so that I bolted this down. Those things weren't gonna be not, orientated not quite perfectly. But once I get these torqued down, then I will go ahead and torque these rocker shaft bolts down. All right, I'm going to torque the camshaft bearing caps to 86 inch-pounds. All right, I was just torquing down these caps, and this one did not tighten up. And Houston, we have a problem. The threads should not come off like that. That stripped the threads right out of the head. So, not the end of the world. It looks like I'm gonna have to take the cam and everything off, and I'm gonna have to put a helicoil in here. Now, I don't have a helicoil here at home. I'll take this to work, and or maybe I'll bring a helicoil kit here and show you guys how to do a helicoil. But very unfortunate. I thought this would be the last video, but we're gonna have to carry on with this another day. All right, so this hole here in the head is the one that is stripped. So what I've got, I went to work and picked up a kit. This is a helicoil kit. Actually, helicoil is a brand name. This one is made by Recoil. It's the same thing. Basically what we're gonna do is drill that hole out. We're gonna tap it oversized and then thread in these little inserts. So this is the drill, this is the tap, this is the insertion tool, and this is the tool that breaks off. There's a little, see if you can get it on here. There's a little drive tab that helps spin the helicoil in, and then there's a little notch in it. So you hit that little tab with the plunging tool, I guess you could say, and it snaps that little tab. Then you'll have a thread remaining. So helicoils are actually stronger than the original threads because the bolt will actually ride up and down on those steel or stainless steel threads. So yeah, so let's get into it. What you don't want to do when you do this is when you drill this out is go obviously too deep. So what I'm going to do is take my my vernier caliper and to measure the depth of that hole. And then what I'm going to do is mark the depth on here, and I'll put a piece of masking tape on the drill so that when I go with the drill press and start drilling, I know when I hit that mark. Although you should feel it. You'll feel the drill start to bottom out in the hole. But just to be on the safe side, I'll put masking tape on there so that we don't go too deep. All right, I got this set up in the drill press. I don't have the head clamped or anything. It's just, I'll just hold it. It's not a big deal. But I will mention before I start, I don't like to preach safety too terribly much, but do not wear gloves when you're operating a drill press. Just don't do it. Okay, that hole's been drilled out and blew the chips away. Next thing we're gonna do is tap this hole out. So I've got some rapid tap, put a little bit of that on the threads. And the key here is to keep it straight, although it's looks like it's pretty easy anyway. Self-centering, or stays straight. But anyway, yeah, you wanna make sure this is perfectly vertical. When you're tapping a hole, you want to make a few turns and then we'll go backwards to break the chip. It'll just drive the tap straight through. Although this cast aluminum, the chips do break up pretty easy. There we go, bottomed out. Take the tap out. I'll go blow the chips out. Next thing to do is take your little insert, put it on your insert tool like that, and now we're going to thread this into the hole. Okay, I'm going to zoom in here so yeah, you can see it. So now you can see I've put that insert basically just beyond the threads, and you can see the little tab that's sticking out. So now what I'm going to do is take this little tool and you just tap it. We'll just give it a little tap with a hammer and it'll break that tab off. Of course, the important thing is you're going to get that little drive tab. You don't want that to go missing. You don't want that to get inside your engine. So you're going to make sure that does, you find it. There, that should bust it off. Now just turn the head upside down. There, and there it is. You can see that. That is your little drive tab that just broke off. So now this has got a new threaded hole in there, and we should be able to try and put this back together. All right, those are all torqued down, and the last thing to do here for the rocker assembly is now do these nuts for the actual rocker shaft, and those are 138 inch-pounds. So that pretty much does it for the overhaul of the head. The last thing I'm going to do is set the valve lash. I've already got another video on the Sambar engine rebuild. You can see that process. Just of note, I do not have a sprocket for this. So what I've just loosely screwed in a couple bolts. I'll put a screwdriver between here and just to spin the cam over, because I really don't have any other way of doing it. But yeah, so that's it for this one. I hope you guys learned something from it. That thread repair was, I guess you could call it an unfortunate thing, but at the same time, I got to show you guys how you can put a helicoil in to fix your threads. So thanks for watching. Think about giving me a like and a subscribe. Thanks again. Take care. Have a great day.